scrap this and buy some muscle. I know, this is Notre Dame's turn for butt kicking next week.
Hey, where'd you run up the score on Stan? Hey guys, this is Who Let Us Out, and I'm here with Jesse Kove. So thank you for coming. You know, I am a huge fan of Cobra Kai, and I've been following both you and your dad. But I kind of want to start at the beginning. Like, where did the passion for like the industry, acting, start for you? Because I read somewhere that when you were 10 years old, you had, I think it was your dad's video recorder, and you would make skits and videos. So did you know from the beginning that you wanted to be in this industry and be creative?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. Your setup here is so cool.
Thank you.
This is just a small portion of what they have here, which is amazing. I love being here. It feels like home.
Yay. That's what we want.
Good. It's just nerd fandom everywhere. So I consider myself a huge movie
Yes.
nerd.
We love nerds, okay? The nerdier,
I'm a
the
nerd,
better.
totally. Yeah, we're all nerds.
Good. Nerds rule the world, okay? I remember being in school, it was not good to be a nerd, but now it's like cool. So.
It's true. Nerds were like beat up and all. Nerds
Yeah.
are. I know I don't look like a nerd, but I'm totally nerd. My house is full of like Harry Potter, Star Wars.
Harry Potter.
I have a real Captain America shield that like
Oh,
a real
wow.
one that was made. I have the Trident of Poseidon or Atlan. Sorry, Trident of Atlan. I've got all kinds of crazy stuff.
So you match our nerd, basically.
Yes. We're totally vibing. It started, back to your question, when I was little, I basically, you know, because of my father, I was always around movie sets all the time. I would I remember traveling to like India and was on a movie set over there, and it was some movie about a giant crocodile or something. And I literally got into the water and was like paddling on a boat, and it was always like a Disneyland for me. So I was always around this creative energy, and I loved watching movies as a kid and Disney movies, you know, the old movies on like VHSs and stuff, those classic Disney films. And I always enjoyed performing for people and making people laugh and doing accents. And I wanted to be a magician when I was younger. I would love to perform in front of my parents and friends and family. And so that kind of got that bug going. My dad and mom never pushed me to be in the industry at all. They were never like, you know, stage parents. And I was always in my high school plays and theater classes growing up. And I would, like you said, I took my dad's video camera and I would take my G.I. Joes and my action figures and I would make these little movies that I loved making. It was so much fun for me. So I always wanted to tell stories and be creative. And then, you know, going into high school, I was doing the plays, and then when I was like 17, I was like, oh, you know, I could do this as a profession, and that's, you know, I started looking out for agents and all that stuff, and that was kind of how the journey started. And every year it just kind of builds onto the next. So it's been an incredible journey so far.
Has there been anything else you would have like wanted to do if you didn't go down that path?
I love working with animals. I like working with a lot of dog rescues and stuff. There's a part of me that feels like I probably would have been a great veterinarian. You know, I really like helping animals, and probably something in that avenue. Maybe a detective. I don't know. I'm really good at like solving things. And I'm really good at finding things too. I'm like put pieces together of where stuff was, and I can always find lost keys or something. It's probably, yeah. And, or I think it's a Scorpio trait too. I don't remember if it's a Scorpio thing, but yeah, something like that probably.
That's fun to know because we were at a YouTube event and they wanted us to find the keys. It was for the Sims anniversary.
Okay.
I used to be a major like Sims nerd, and everybody completed the tasks. And the one thing was like a hidden pair of keys, and he found it, and nobody else found it. And we won the
Amazing.
YouTube game, and I was like, "That's wild." But no, growing up, I wanted to be an FBI agent until I learned that I have to be able to run and have like really good physical. And I was like, "I'm a nerd. I can barely do any of that." So no.
Oh my God. That's cool though to want to be an FBI agent. I love
Yeah,
that.
I really wanted to, but it makes sense because I love Criminal Minds, Law and Order, CSI.
Mindhunter.
Yeah, and then what? The Rookie, even though the Rookie's more like funny, but so I love all of those shows. So that's really cool to know. I did see your video with the cat. What is his name, Mister? I follow him.
Oh, Nathan?
Yeah,
Mr. Pickles?
I love his cat videos. That was really funny.
Yeah, he's amazing. He and I have become really close lately. He's such a great guy, and he's actually over in Spain right now doing a rescue operation for these Galago dogs that are over there that are, unfortunately are, you know, getting killed daily. So he's bringing back like 32 of them from Spain over to America to give them new homes. He's amazing. Nathan, you are a true hero, buddy.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I love his videos. So it's really good to know that like behind all of that, I've been watching his videos and I was like, that's so funny, but there's also, he's helping. So that's really good to know.
We're with that video, I think got like 1 million hits. We're gonna totally do a bunch more together because the collaboration of he and I, it's been really fun.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, cat security guard. We have a wiener dog and he's
Oh my God, can he like be here with us?
We could bring him after because he's I don't know, he's a little unhinged.
I love
He just barks at everyone and he's aggressive. Like, I don't know.
God.
He'll be like really cute one
sit on
moment.
my lap.
Yeah, you think, and then he'll start going crazy. We also have 3 pet ducks outside.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
I wish they were in here too.
I know they would be pooping everywhere, but yeah, we love animals too. I love my wiener dog. I wish I could take him to premieres, but he would actually probably cause a whole scene.
I would love to take my animal. I have 2 pit bulls. I would love to take them to, like, who does that is Tom Holland. He takes his little pitty to his premieres all the time. I think that's so cool.
So cool. There's another journalist, I don't know his name, but he has a really small dog and he'll take it to like events. And I'm like, man, what do I gotta like?
Yeah.
What do I gotta get to take
Joe
my...
Manganiello always has his little tiny like purse dog always.
And then Adam Sandler brings his dog to press junkets. He was like wandering around the
my
Four
God.
Seasons Hotel, and I was like, whose dog is this? And like, that's Adam's. I was like, oh, how cute. I was like, oh, but he was like literally going up and down the hotel. I was like, that's so fun.
I've also said I think it's mandatory that movie sets should have the movie set dog because they bring the morale up, and like, who doesn't want to see a friendly dog while they're making movies, having lunch? It makes you happy. You're doing long days.
It makes things better. Gives you like a boost.
Yeah, you're like, oh, there's Henry. Henry's our on-set dog for the Star Wars movie we're doing, and he's great.
Oh, Henry. Was it a movie with Mark Wahlberg? Arthur the King, and they had the dog there.
I love that movie.
Yeah, they had the dog there too. I did like a little video with the dog, and they had the dog like doing all this stuff, and I was like, this dog is smarter than me.
Amazing story, that movie.
Very, 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 very good story. So that was fun. So I do want to ask, being in the industry, obviously, like your dad, your family's in the industry. How do you, prove that you are you without? Because there's a lot of people like, oh, people get in the industry because of their family. How do you kind of pave your own way and kind of shut down the haters?
Great question. And, there's some difficulty to that. At the same time, there are certain doors that I've been able to open through, my father. But you also got to you got to show up when you get those doors open. Like, you got to really present yourself and, be on your A game when that happens, because there's nothing more embarrassing than being in those moments, in those situations, and you can't perform or you don't do well.
Exactly.
So, I've worked my ass off like every other actor, or that's out here trying to grind or make things happen, and it's I don't take that for granted. So I actually try to overachieve when I get those opportunities. Like when Cobra Kai came around, I got that audition. It came in through my reps, and we didn't really know what the character was. My dad didn't even know. I thought originally like I was playing like the young Kreese, because they were talking about Kreese in the show, and so I worked my butt off on that audition, and because again, I would be like, how embarrassing for me if they asked my dad, like, hey, how did Jesse do in that audition for the thing? They're like, well, we went another direction, so I really wanted to do well with that, and I'm so grateful that opportunity was able to be there, and it was incredible. So to finish that answer, it's a blessing, and I'm still obviously I have to audition like everybody else for things, and some people can be judgy about that stuff. I went to high school with a lot of people who had a lot of famous parents, whether they're musicians, actors in that world, and people just have to carve their own path. It's kind of like a rite of passage to do that, and it comes with its own challenges.
And I feel like you almost have to like not prove yourself more, but maybe like work a little bit harder to kind of get out of that,
Yeah, there's like a shadow kind of cast, I mean, I've been so lucky to work with my dad on so many different movies, what a blessing that is. And, he also has to, I want him to have his own films as well as he does for me to have my own movies. Like, we can't always be in the same projects, even though we have projects that we're working on together now, that we're like a series that we're developing. But, we have to have our own individuality within that. And, but, when we do work together, we have a great time. I mean, it's like, I always say it's like summer camp. We're laughing all the time. We're pushing each other. I want him to do his best. He wants me to do my best. It's really a cool experience. And I'm lucky too, because whatever we do together is forever. I can look at that stuff 50 years from now and be like, oh man, we did this together. It's amazing.
And you get to spend time with your parents. Like, you know, when you grow up, that for some people that happens less and less, but being able to like work with a parent,
Yeah.
you get to like spend that time. Whereas like in some cases, you know, you got to go to work, come home, you know, you don't get that
Yeah.
time. So it's super cool to be able to do that.
Thank you. I
So
am.
it's a blessing.
I'm super fortunate that way to be able to be in a business that we can do things creatively together, you know, even if we're fighting or battling each other or whatever it is.
Exactly. Now I want to touch on some of those roles. Would you say you're both prone to playing the bad guy, and what other roles would you want to kind of step into? Because I wouldn't necessarily call them the bad guy. You know, like the last episode of Cobra Kai really like hit home for me, and I'm still somewhere mentally like he didn't die.
We always joke about, you know, like my dad does these cameos all the time. I mean, he's done thousands of them, and he always like signs off at the end where he like, you know, what does he say? You know, mercies for the weak, here and on the streets, anyone who confronts you. He's like, Cobra Kai never dies,
Yep.
and neither does John Kreese. That's always his sign off now. But I think, you know, in a world that he is alive somewhere, I think because they actually did shoot an alternate scene where you see
wow.
his hand, like you see Terry Silver. Terry Silver is on like the cover of the magazine. I don't remember if that was still in the.
I swear I saw it, a hand, or maybe I'm imagining.
Well, they
things, but
shot.
I swear-
There was a news story where you see Terry Silver, like, you know, Terry Silver dead, you know,
Yeah.
from his company, or whatever, and then you see a hand come in and grab the magazine, and you see the ring of my dad's finger, so it was his, and they shot that. But I guess it just didn't work for
Yeah.
what they wanted to do, which is fine. They wanted to give that ultimate sacrifice for Johnny, which
makes
worked out
sense.
really well. But you know, I think that whole universe, there's so many opportunities for them to do spin-offs and future, past, whatever. You know, I don't think that's all. It's not dead yet.
Exactly, and then the Karate Kid Legends is coming out soon too. I'm really excited for that.
I saw the trailer again yesterday. I was watching Thunderbolts, and I saw the trailer again. I was like, God, this movie just looks so good.
I know it feels like we're going back to like, you know, those times. And I feel like movies need that. That's why I like Thunderbolts, because it felt very like raw, and it didn't feel like necessarily a superhero film. It felt like a really real superhero film.
It was super grounded.
yeah, and
It was like
very
really
relatable.
Yeah,
And
it wasn't like this giant big thing. It was like super, like you said, it was very raw and intimate.
I just feel like somebody said, "Oh, this is like old Marvel. Like, I can't wait to have it back. Like, this is what we need." Although, you know, I feel like there's a lot of really good Marvel movies that have come out recently. I liked Captain America: Brave New World. I might get some hate for that, but I really enjoyed it. Okay, I'm gonna stand on my ground. I love that movie.
It's hard to like. I like you. I just love sitting and being in those
Yeah.
worlds. I love watching them. You know, do I think it could have been a little bit better?
Yeah.
Yes.
But was it bad? No.
Yeah. And right. I mean, look at, for God's sake, getting Harrison Ford to do that is like unbelievable. You know, the man was like naked on screen for a minute, and like, well, still got it going on.
That was wild. I love Harrison Ford. I had
Me
the
too.
pleasure of speaking to him for the last Indiana Jones. I just think it's super cool that he's still doing this.
He's amazing.
You know, and I'm like, man, I would just be resting somewhere, just watching movies, you know?
Of course, I've been so lucky. I've met him twice. He's the one of the main people that we were doing the. I was at the premiere for 1923 for the first season, and he had just come to the red carpet. And everybody had gone inside the theater, and I was talking to my publicist. And I was like, Rick, we're gonna wait right here until Harrison Ford comes by. I am destined to get a photo with him. The last thing I do is I'm getting a photo with Harrison Ford, and I did. I walked right up to him, and I was like. You know, I was like, Harrison, do you mind, you know, if I get a quick picture with you? And he was so nice. He was like, yeah, of course. Like, where do you want it? And it was such a pleasure for me to have that photo with him.
That's fun. Is there anybody in the industry that you haven't met that you would like to meet and that you look up to? And it doesn't, let me take it back. It doesn't have to be anybody in the industry. It could be literally anybody.
Yeah. Great question. Obviously there's so many people that I love their work. Their work is like so deep and incredible, and the people that I've become more drawn to, especially in Hollywood, is not only are they like great actors, but how they impact the world.
Yeah.
That is the most appealing to me. You know, when I see certain actors that do a lot of like philanthropy work or, you know, working with animals or children, I just think that's so amazing. I think that says a lot about who they are. And when you really see them out there doing it, you know, I mean, God, there's so many people I would love to work with. It's like I'd love to work with Christopher Nolan. I'd love to work, you know, with Leonardo DiCaprio or you know, Rebecca Ferguson or, you know, my God, Russell Crowe or I mean, it's endless. So, but yeah, I love working. I'd love to be with people who impact the world for a more positive way, because that's how I like. Tom Cruise would be amazing.
Yeah.
He would be so much fun to work with. By the way, I bought my tickets for the special screening of that pre-opening day. I think on Thursday, May 22nd. I bought like 6 tickets. I'm so excited about that.
Oh my God, so fun. I'm going on the 12th, like a young Hollywood screening or something.
Oh my God, amazing.
I wanted to go to
I'm too old for that one.
Stop it. I'm 31 now. I can't believe I'm 31 now. Oh my God.
You look like you're 19 years old.
Thank you. I literally freak out when I turned 30. I was like, oh my God, is my life done? Like, what do I do?
But
we're
nerds. We're ageless.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
feel
nerds.
Like I'm technically like 12 in my head.
That's
so
right. Same.
Yeah, I'm seeing it on the 12th, so I'm really excited for that.
That one definitely a twofer. You're gonna have to want to see that again. I want to see that movie in 40X. Have you done the 40X?
Yeah, I did
experience
40X for Alien Romulus. I did 40X for Venom. I don't know what.
Do you like 40X?
I like it, but so for Venom, I liked it for Alien because I was like pretty chill clothing. It was after Disneyland for D23, but for Venom, it was the premiere. And, you know, when you go to premiere, you dress. It was like water everywhere.
Oh
and
no!
The chair was
your heels. Like
I was like, oh my! And we were in New York, and I was like, oh my God! Like I was like, turn it off, and he kept turning it on. I was like, why are you turning the water on?
Wow.
So yeah, it was fun though. But I wouldn't want to go in sweats and like just chill.
Sure.
At a premiere, it was a little crazy, but
it's a fun experience. A lot of people still don't know about 40X.
They don't.
40X, by the way, is when you're watching a movie and the seats are moving to the film.
It's like a ride.
It's
There's
incredible.
Water splashing everywhere.
Yes.
Like, it's crazy. It's really fun. Just maybe not when. Oh, also because I had literally painted half my face as Venom. And it was an oil paint, so like any water would make me look like Venom was melting. So it was like Venom versus like the Wizard of Oz. But
you literally turned into Venom.
Yeah, exactly.
By the end of it, you look like Venom.
Yeah. So and then we had to get on a plane the next day, and it wouldn't come off, but it was like streaky from water. So it was fun. But I'm excited to see Mission. That's one of my Fantastic Four. Final Destination.
Pedro Pascal. I'd love to work with Pedro Pascal as well. He just seems like the most fun, nicest guy ever.
And he has a lot of wild on-screen deaths. I did a poll. I was like, which Pedro Pascal death is the worst?
That's right. He literally talked about that the other day. He was talking about how he dies on screen all the time. And I've died so much too. I don't realize it, but I guess it's, you know, you leave your mark and want to be missed.
What would you say your like worst, goriest, if death?
Screamboat, actually, which just came out on DVD today.
Oh, wow.
It's actually number 2 underneath Sinners right now
That's
on
so
Amazon.
Cool.
You can actually, I'll send you a screenshot of that. So
we can add
thank
that in
you.
Here.
That was probably the goriest death I've had. There was so much blood when I shouldn't even have said that out loud, but it's okay. People are seeing it now.
Yeah.
And I feel like that video where Mark Ruffalo and where he talks about everyone dies.
Oh yeah.
Oh
he
my
wasn't
God. I literally, if that happened to me on a movie of that scale, I would probably poop my pants. It's just going to be real.
That's like moments that like go down in history. But speaking of like the blood and the gore, so in Sinners they said that like it was so sticky because they used a lot of, I guess, corn syrup. Mm-hmm. I don't know how, and it was hot where they were filming. I don't know like how I would be able to handle that. Also, like I have very sensitive skin, so I'd break out in like 5 minutes. I would be bright red, so you wouldn't even need the fake blood because I would look like the fake blood.
It depends if it's like the blood that's going in your mouth or if it's like the blood that's just being sprayed out of like a canister thing. I mean, some of it just dries up and it just stays there. Then they have the sticky stuff. Then there's so many different types of blood that they use. They'll have just like a blood pad, which is just like a piece of plastic that looks like a big pool of blood that just throws on the ground. But yeah, then they have like, the watery stuff that just sprays everywhere. Like I'm sure what they use in like the substance, when they
that was crazy.
That was probably like, super watered down. So, they had like 1,000 gallons of that stuff, but crazy.
Yeah. Kudos to them because I don't know. Getting the face paint off from Venom was like bad enough. I don't know. That stuff stays, like it sticks. They said it was the sticky one, especially, it stayed for a while.
I did have my guts ripped out of a movie I did called Bring Me a Dream. That was really fun. Taylor Maine, who plays, what's his name? The big wolf guy in X-Men, Sabretooth. There's a Sabretooth. I forgot his name. Anyway, he was playing the Sandman. He like picks me up by the throat and then he pulls my guts out.
Oh,
I've died a lot in a lot of different movies, a lot of different ways.
So maybe you and Pedro are like head to head then.
Yeah, I'm coming for you, Pedro. Watch out.
His death in, I think it was The Kingsman. That one was bad. And then Game of Thrones. And then obviously.
Oh my God, The Kingsman, right.
Yeah, that was. Didn't he go through like a meat grinder or something? That was
and then,
gross.
yeah, a lot. And then also Gladiator was
Yeah, that was sad. I was like,
it
no.
was.
That was actually good for a sequel.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing I didn't like, and I told my friend at Paramount, I was like, it was a really good movie, and I liked that it continued the story. But the CGI animals, the sharks were throwing me off.
I know, it was a little much. I was a little much. because I even looked it up. I mean, I don't even think they really actually did that. I think that was total Hollywood fantasy.
I was like,
but
what?
They got to up the ante, you know?
Yeah, I was like, okay, that makes sense, but it just looked off.
Yeah.
She was like, actually, now that you're saying this, I see it. I was like, yeah, it just threw me off a little bit. Everything else was really good.
I love Ridley Scott. So Ridley Scott to me is like...
he can do no wrong.
He's amazing. Yeah, I just love him
That's
so
why I was
much.
like, whatever. That was my only note for the review that I wrote. I was like, yeah, the sharks and the animals were a little bit, questionable, but everything else was good. So I want to take it back to Cobra Kai. The character David that you played, I think he was kind of a bully, right? And
Yes.
do you kind of feel like Kreese got that whole "the enemy deserves no mercy" from him?
I always joke that I helped start Cobra Kai because if I didn't inspire young Kreese to go to the military, it might have never happened. But I mean, I think that kind of happened through his military world, and his own pain and suffering and having to build that shell that he did, creating no mercy. But maybe in the back of his head, subliminally, it came from when I said it in the diner, maybe.
I feel like everyone has that like little flashback moment to when they were like younger, like this is from that moment, Yeah. I feel like it had it played a little part in it, but I really do love Cobra Kai. I am kind of sad that it's over, but as you said, it never dies. So, I feel like it'll be back soon.
I wish they could have, I feel like they could have expanded like one or two more seasons if they broke up. I personally wanted to. Josh Hayden, by the way, if you ever listen to this, I love you guys. You know that. So this is just my own silly, nerdy critique because I just wanted more of the show. I always thought that they could have expanded on the relationship of my dad and Johnny's character, like in season 2, where they're working together with the dojo. So. I would have liked to have seen another season more of the two of them getting closer together, and then it would have made like that heartache where he turns on him even more so. I thought they could have expanded on that a little bit more, but I mean, there's just so much they had to do and fill in the storylines in those stories. But that's just my own little personal thing. But the whole show is just incredible.
And I feel like there is so much that there still could be something in the future.
There's so much to touch upon. I mean, I feel like Hollywood is bringing back so much that we love. We want to see more of, and I think people are obviously look at like Revenge of the Sith, like that movie made almost $50 million re-release. I think it's the most successful re-release of all time, and because people, I think, want to feel that nostalgic feeling again of what it was like seeing those movies for the first time or reliving that time period. Because that's all, I mean, movies and all this stuff, it's all escapism, right?
Exactly.
Even if it's from a movie that was already made.
Precisely.
Right?
And there's movies that we would watch as kids that I want to see in the theater now because, I was probably not supposed to see it because I was either too young or it wasn't in the theater or it didn't get released in England. Bringing those back and I think I forced him to go see Titanic in the theater when it came back out. I was like, we have to go, please. I was crying. I think it was 1 a.m.
I saw that too when they re-released that. It was amazing.
I have to go.
We were probably sitting next to each other crying. We didn't even know
it was like, you guys are a mess. But I also bawled at the Wicked premiere, but my friend next to me, he was crying way more and I got the video and you can hear his cry in the background and it drowned out my cry. So I was so happy because it was just so embarrassing.
I loved Wicked.
I thought so good.
The scene with the two of them in the nightclub and I literally thought that scene was so powerful. My eyes were so welled up. That whole experience, it was incredible.
That was one of my bawling scenes. It was just such a relatable moment. Whether you experience it today, in high school, when you're a kid, everybody has dealt with that in some shape or form.
Totally.
And in that moment, you feel that
accepted.
You're alpha, but also you finally get accepted. But there's still so much going on, and then what happens in the end? I mean, no spoilers. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it by now. If you haven't, I'm sorry. You should.
They're already advertising the second one,
know,
so you need to see
November.
the first one.
But it's just like that whole movie, is really heartbreaking, but it really reflects what has been going on in the world, period. So
It was beautiful. I loved it. I know people thought it was too long, but it's big.
no,
epic.
I'm glad it was that long. When it ended, I wanted more. So I'm glad.
I love movies that are like 2.5, 3 hours long.
Yeah, as long as it's a good movie, I'm
Yeah.
there. Like I didn't want Thunderbolts to end. I was mad when it left. I was like, I don't want to leave this headspace. I'm in like a headspace where
Yeah.
I feel like I'm here with these little misfits. Like they're my friends.
We're going on a ride together. We're going on a journey.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Man, I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That was great. I think they're doing a sequel to that.
Yeah,
with Brad
Netflix is
Pitt.
doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy because I, like the crime nerd that I am.
Mm-hmm.
So the Spawn Ranch is like up there where like the Mansons used to live.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to that cave, and then I try to go to Cielo Drive. So like I love all of like the crime
Sure.
stuff, and in my head I really wish like that never happened.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the movie, giving like that like fight back moment was like
Sure.
kind of like my little revenge. Though I'm nowhere near the '60s, but I'm like, oh, what if?
I love
'Cause
that.
that was just like crazy and terrible. So I love the movie because it was like my little escape from like the history of that.
My dad's in that, in the opening scene of that movie.
Oh my god, I need to watch it
It's
again
a very
now.
quick little moment of him. He's in the very beginning of the movie. His scene was with Leo when he's doing the Western thing. Yeah.
That was probably the only movie we've ever actually bought on Prime. Like,
Oh, wow.
Because you don't really need to buy movies anymore on streaming. I like the physical copy.
I do too. I like having.
Yeah.
I have my DVDs or Blu-rays. Like it's so nice to like look
You
at
touch
it
it, and
pull
then
out.
you know
Yes.
how they used to have
by
like
Screamboat, by the way.
does it? Okay, I need to ask you. Does the Screamboat DVD have the cover, or is it just the name? Because you know how they changed it back in the day. DVDs had the actual like artwork. Now it's
I
just like
love
the
it.
name.
So they're doing actually two versions. They're doing a special limited edition one that's going to be like a steel box.
Oh, cool.
But that's not coming out till I think later. But right now it's just like the DVD. I don't think it has like the cardboard shell over it. It's just a regular DVD.
Okay.
With the sleeve.
But yeah, I
in it.
loved back in the day when they had like the actual CD had like the cover.
Yes,
That
yes.
was so cool.
Yeah.
Even like music CDs. That was good times. They need to bring those back.
I think they're coming back around.
I
again.
hope so.
They are.
I hope so. I mean, this generation needs to like see what life was like, beyond the iPad.
Yeah, well, I feel like the generation now that we were talking about, we're all making money now, and so I think we're all buying those things that we
Yeah.
want again.
As a kid.
Aside from iPads and all that stuff, we want like
Exactly.
DVDs and actual
Physical
hard copy
things.
stuff. So
Yeah, we need that. Gen Z and Gen Alpha. I hope you're listening.
exactly, same thing with like Revenge of the Sith. When I watched the movie, I saw everybody coming in there with like their kids, which was so cool. Like just like have them
Bringing
share
them.
that moment. Same thing with Cobra Kai, Karate Kid. That's one of the biggest things that people always talk about is that they're able to relive this stuff with their kids, which is so cool.
Bring it down the line and like continue it. I'm so excited to go see Karate Kid in New York. Anyway, hype. So I'm gonna go back to Cobra Kai. So that premiere was one of my favorite premieres ever because everybody was dancing at the after party. I love 80s music. I always feel like I was
Me too.
I was older in the wrong time, and that I've been to so many premieres, and usually it's like mixing and mingling. It's good food, but I don't really see too many people actually dancing. This was so fun. I did not want to leave. The music was like a hit. Everybody was dancing. I think I got a video of your dad dancing. I was talking to him for a little while too. I think we were talking about a Marvel movie. I can't remember. But I got a video of him dancing, and then I think Peyton was dancing, and it was just so fun. And
My
yeah.
sister started that dance floor, by the way.
Oh my God, really?
So I've said this before in other news. The Coves are always the first ones on the dance floor. We always get the party started. My sister, as soon as she got into that room at the after party, she went right to the dance floor. She took her shoes off. She went right to the dance floor, and she kept dragging us in and started that going. And then the circle started. And then my dad, I saw Peyton and Sholo and Jacob dancing, and I was like, Dad, you got to get in there.
That's dedication.
It was awesome. That was an amazing night.
So I was going to ask you, I was like, are you a dancer too? Because obviously the whole family.
I don't consider myself like a dancer.
Dancer.
I love dancing and having fun. Like I'm always gonna try and have a good time. I should definitely take some more classes. Maybe I'll whip out some Magic Mike moves one day. Maybe.
Okay,
Hopefully.
that'll be fun. I mean, yeah, that was one of the best parties ever. I was like this. Like I've been to so many premieres, but that was the one. I was like, this is such a fun night. Like
It was
everybody's actually
amazing.
dancing and they're dancing together.
Yes.
Sometimes it's like, oh,
That never happens. You don't
Never.
see that kind of dancing
at
with
all,
the group.
at
No,
all.
never.
Because it's like sometimes the talent will be at their tables,
Mm-hmm.
the press or whatever will be like a little separated. But that was like everybody just came together, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want it to end.
I think it's because a lot of it is the cast. Everybody's so much fun.
Yeah.
Like Alicia, Anna Kim, Peyton, Jacob, Shola. Like everybody has this great energy. Tanner. Like everybody is so much fun to work with, or even in life. So I think all of them are pretty adventurous. You know, I've done Comic-Cons with all of them around the world, and me too. And you know, usually even when we're all together, we always end up doing fun stuff or playing jokes around each other. So everybody's just knows how to have a good time in that group.
Yeah, I could see it. I was like, man, I wish I was on this cast. Do they need a reporter? I wish. So back to like the impact of movies. Has there ever been a particular film that impacted you, or like a scene, and like why?
I remember growing up, like one of my dad's favorite movies that we would always watch in the house would be like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which was a Western. Like that's one of my all-time favorite movies. I was like 6 when Titanic came out. That was an incredible movie. Like I'd never seen a movie like that before. And also like Gladiator, that was another one that I loved growing up. I mean, they've all impacted me in different ways. You know, seeing even like the original Disney movies, homage to the originals and does it justice. So we'll see.
I hope so. It's hard for me to disconnect with like the actors who played those characters because you know a lot of them have passed and they're part of your childhood. But I'm optimistic because of like the fandom. I'm excited to see it, but I feel like
me too.
In the back of my head, it's always going to be.
It's hard. I played Hogwarts Legacy. It was probably one of my favorite games I've ever played. I just enjoyed being in that universe. I'm a very proud Slytherin, by the way.
I am a Gryffindor, but I dabble in Slytherin only because I bought a green outfit because Gryffindor was out of stock.
Yeah, you have some Slytherin in you.
A little bit of Slytherin, you know.
I can sense the rebelliousness.
Some rebellion, usually, you know. But Gryffindor.
I think being a nerd is the, you know, parcel with being rebellious.
Yeah,
part of that,
exactly.
Right?
You're like, I want to be a little bit of a rebellion. You know, but you know, I love being a nerd. I love Gryffindor, Slytherin. You know, I still feel. I don't say I feel bad for Tom Riddle because who he is, but you know, I'm the person that will have sympathy for the bad person because I'll try and see the good.
Yes,
which is like a conflict. Because, you know, I don't know if you watch Daredevil, but Kingpin, I was telling Vincent, like, I feel bad for Kingpin.
You sympathize with the villains.
Yeah, I'm like, he had a hard child, you know? Then I'm like...
What about Voldemort? Like, his childhood was probably, you know...
I mean...
He did have a hard childhood. He was adopted, and he was felt unloved. He's got mommy issues, for sure.
Yeah, it's just... When he was in his human form, I felt more bad for him because he's terrifying. I'd say I still have sympathy for him, but not after, like... the last 2 films, the last 2 books. He's a little bit of an asshole. Sorry. But no, I mean, the Snape one really killed me. Snape was hard, even though Snape was like the mean teacher. I used to have a history teacher that reminded me of Snape.
He became such a G.
And I was like, man, not Snape. Gangster. And then in real life, when the actors pass, I'm like, oh my God, my heart. So yeah.
Did you see the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child?
I did.
I saw it twice. It was pretty, again, I just like being in that world.
Yeah. Take me in that world. What are the other movies that came out? They were was it with that guy, the guy who was in that show?
Harry Potter stuff?
It's a spin-off. You had me watch it. What's it called? It's in the world of Harry Potter. It was you know what I mean?
The Beasts, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
I was happy to be in the world, but then I like wanted it to like go back into like, you know.
Those were, I really enjoy those, but they kind of did their own thing.
It was kind of like, I don't know. Thank you for making
That's like give the people what they want. Like, why have they not done a true Darth Vader series? Like, I was disappointed by Obi-Wan. I didn't really, I thought that it was just kind of, I thought it lacked certain things. I obviously enjoyed being there and seeing these characters come back, but I didn't think they went far enough with the characters. Like, and everyone I've talked to about this, like, and I know everybody wants to see a Darth Vader series, like the journey of Anakin, you know, after Revenge of the Sith when he becomes Darth Vader and all that stuff that happens in between. Like, I think it would be such a compelling show to watch and people would just love it.
I think instead of like, I know sometimes sequels and prequels are cool, but like if it's going to be a prequel, you know, make it a series. So if you're going to do a Harry Potter, don't remake Harry Potter. Do like, you know, something, take one of those characters and give me his backstory.
Right.
Like do something that we like haven't seen. So hopefully, I don't know, they take that advice.
And Disney, I love you guys. I just think they should do like a Darth Vader Andor style series, you know, and that kind of, that's right.
have a lot of
would be
friends at
amazing.
Disney.
And Hayden, love you, dude. Love him as Darth Vader. I wanted more. I wanted more.
You got to give the fans what they want because we're the ones watching it after all.
Cobra Kai gave the fans what they wanted, and they ate it up in troves. Just
The fandom for Cobra Kai is like huge.
Yes.
Like it's bigger than the Bayhive, if I dare say that. I don't know. I don't want Beyonce fans to come after
No,
me.
they are. I've seen it in person. They're by the thousands, the hundreds, like in person, like seeing. It means so much to so many people, and the legacy of all of it, and it's a conversation that is always being had amongst all the people that have been around Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. Like we still talk about, like, it's just amazing how much it means to people.
Yeah, it's like multi-generational. It goes through time, and you have the best of like both worlds, really.
And it was always, even still, the underdog, like Karate Kid. Like, it was on YouTube. Nobody even knew what it was.
Yeah, and then
it was still trying to make its way, and then it finally got to Netflix, and then it became what it was. But it was always the underdog. Cobra Kai didn't have the kind of money that a lot of these other Netflix, like Stranger Things. I mean, these shows were like $100 million budgets. Like, Cobra Kai was never in that realm. So again, it was always the underdog. Still came out on top.
It built its way up, and look where it is now. I mean, I think when I was like looking, because I posted like the photo from the premiere. It was just a basic like photo, and I just used hashtag Cobra Kai. And out of all the premiere photos, this one was the one that got like the most views, like outside of my following.
Wow!
And like people were sharing it, and I was like, it's just a photo. Like, what is going on?
So cool.
It was just so cool, and I was like, wow! Like I'm meeting new followers, and like I always follow back usually because I want like new friends. So I was like, oh, like these are so cool. Like I'm getting connected to like more people through this fandom.
Yeah.
And I'm like a part of a lot of fandoms, like the show The Rookie. Like that's one of my like big little nerdy ones. I communicate with all the Rookie fans. Like a big
That's
nerd.
fun.
Like there's a Reddit chat that we like talk on, and I take their questions back, and I'll ask like the cast, like, hey,
Love it.
they want to know
You're so
this.
invested.
No, I really am. I'm like, you need to like, I don't want to ask questions because when you work for like other news outlets, you can't really ask what you want. You got to ask what's like on that news outlet's like audience. Is it clickbait? Is it drama? We just want to talk about the nerdy stuff and like what I want to know about the next episode. Like I don't care about like the other things behind the show. Like I want to know what's happening next, what happened on set, like what is on scene, like what did you guys do? Are you guys friends in real life? That stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because the whole point of a movie or a TV show is to take you away from life. And that's why I say when I write a review, if that movie had me like away from my phone, really invested, I left like happy or like moved, then it was a good film. Maybe not perfect, but it wasn't a terrible film. And I don't think I've really seen a terrible film yet. I've seen movies that could have been better, but I haven't seen anything that was like too terrible. Because I can tell if I'm on my phone and I'm just not interested, then like that's it.
Sure.
So before I close it out,
Yep.
we also have a game, but we'll get into that in a minute. Can you tease what you're working on and anything upcoming that we don't already know?
Sure. I'm so lucky. I have so much that's being done right now. I actually just finished an action movie called President Down. Really excited about that. Gina Vittori's in that. She's wonderful to work with. Directed by Nick Lyne, great director. I've worked with him before. I have another action movie I did called Whole Shot with this wonderful French actress, Laura Claire. She's great. Became a wonderful friend. Great actress she lives in France. She's amazing. That's a really fun movie. I'm super excited about that. We shot that in Florida. It's like got all this action and like stuff on jet skis and all this. We had so much fun making that movie. I have another Western coming out called The Gunfighter's Deal. It's like a supernatural Western. Really excited about that. My dad has a fun cameo in that. We really, that was fun story. I've got this great pilot that I just did called Forsaken Mercenary that was just at the Sunscreen Film Festival in Florida. I posted about that a little bit. That's a really fun one. We're trying to get out as a series. And then I've got this other great movie that was directed by my friend James Cullen Bressick called Boris is Dead. We've got Dane Cook in that, Cam Gigenet, Twilight, and your favorite.
Oh my God, I love Cam. He was
Working
also
with him was really cool.
in the OC.
Yeah, he was really fun to work with. He plays this character you've probably never seen him play this kind of character before. He's super eccentric and crazy. That's another fun one. So there's so much that's coming out. I mean, there's probably a few that haven't mentioned, but just staying busy. Got a lot of good stuff in the works, and I'm just also stuff in development as well. So
well, I'm excited. I'm really excited for that.
Thank you.
I want to ask you: do you do your own stunts?
For the most part, yes. I mean, there's certain things that I like. When I did Magnum PI in Hawaii, there was this amazing elevator fight that was choreographed by a good buddy of mine, and it was just. It was this incredible scene that we had, fighting in this elevator, and it was actually choreographed by my buddy Holland Diaz. He's an incredible stunt coordinator, a stunt man, and he's done some big Marvel stuff too. And he helped choreograph the fight scene for Captain America, Winter Soldier, in the fight in the elevator. You know, the one where he's like, "If you guys want to get out, now's the time," or whatever he said. So we did a scene in there, and there's a scene where my character gets thrown up into the ceiling, and there's all these sparks that fly out. I really wanted to do that, but they just, for safety reasons, they wouldn't let me. But I love doing my own stunts. If I could do some of the stuff Tom Cruise does, great. That's saying a lot. Would I hang off the side of the Burj Khalifa? I don't know, but I'm willing to do a lot of stuff. So yes, for the most part, I do, of all the stunts I've done in all my movies, it's mostly me. So when you see me fighting, it's usually 90% me. I haven't broken anything yet, thank God.
Thankfully. I know John Bernthal said he broke his nose multiple times.
Yeah, stuff happens, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it. It's part of the fun, and I want people to be able to watch a movie and be like, "Oh my God, like,
did you know
Jesse's doing that? Look at him! Like, he doesn't cut away to some other guy."
Yeah, exactly.
Especially like with firearm stuff too. Like, I do a lot of training with firearms. Like, I train with Terran Tactical, same guys who train John Wick, Keanu Reeves for all his movies, and like Michael B. Jordan trains there too. Great people. They do a lot of incredible work. So yeah.
That's good to know. It puts you into the movie more, and you know what? They did that, you know? I think that brings out like the fun and the action in the film a little bit more. I mean, Florence Pugh in Thunderbolts did jump off the building, the second tallest building, I think, in the world. But she didn't do the skydiving part, but she did do the jumping off part. So she jumped off, and then I guess somebody else did the skydiving with the parachute part.
So they like jumped off, and then they like brought her back in or something?
I guess, because like in the video, she like jumps off, and she has like the thing they attach to you. And then
Good for her.
Yeah. But I was like, that's fun. Like I've like climbed the side of a skyscraper in New York. I don't think I would.
We say that here, sitting on these couches, but then
like I did that. That was fine.
Oh,
but
you
then
did that?
The edge, right? The edge. So they put. It was so hot that day. Like I was losing my mind, and they had me in this freaking suit, and we were like attached to the side of it, and they're like, okay, and now we're gonna turn around and look at the view. And I turned around, I was like, oh no, can we just go?
Oh my goodness.
Looking at the view made me nauseous, but like while I was climbing, I was like, no, this feels so nice. But then looking down at like Manhattan was terrifying.
Sure.
So shout out to Tom Cruise, because I don't know, I would jump off and close my eyes and just hope for the best. I don't know. As long as I don't see it, I'm okay. If I see it, then I'll have a heart attack.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly.
I want to play a game.
Making your bed every day is important.
Very.
Okay. Leaving a party without saying goodbye should be normalized.
Sure.
Getting up, walking through movie seats during a movie is awkward.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah. There was enough room for Jack on the Titanic door.
Plenty of room. Plenty of room.
Robert Downey Jr. is better as Dr. Doom than Iron Man.
Incorrect.
Exactly. Not eating the crust of pizza should be a crime.
I do enjoy the crust. But yeah, it could be a crime.
I eat the pizza for the crust, so it is a crime. Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man.
By far. Tom is great. I love Tom, but
just grew
Toby's
up with
great.
Tobey,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
A straw has one hole, not two.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I saw this yesterday, and I was like, wait, that's.
There are two holes.
1, 2, but then is it one? I don't know. I'm sure people in the comments can figure this out. Okay, so that was that. Okay, so this is the first one. This is a TV show. It's pretty easy.
Cobra Kai.
Yep. Okay, next one. Also pretty easy.
Karate Kid.
Yep.
Oh, that's really good. What is this? Oh my God, why can't I guess this? Oh, that's so bad that I can't guess this one.
I'll give you a clue. It's the third movie in a Marvel...
Spider-Man?
Yes.
This Spider-Man? It's Tobey Maguire.
Yep.
Spider-Man... Oh, which one is this? The Amazing Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man 3.
Oh.
It's the scene where MJ is about to break up.
Oh man, my least
Peter.
favorite one of the three. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
That's okay.
It's funny. I had to get you out somehow. Last one.
I was so excited to see those movies, by the way, when they were coming out in theaters.
Me too.
I could not wait.
I was like, those are my Spider-Mans. Tom's great.
They were.
But, you know.
When he came back, I was crying.
Super nerdied out. I was
Yes.
like, oh my God. Last one.
This is obviously Captain America, the First Avenger.
Yes.
Love this movie.
Hey, you're good at this. Okay. We're going to have to come you back so you can do more.
I auditioned for Captain America.
You did?
But I didn't. I was a lot thinner and smaller than I am now, and I was.
I mean,
was
in
like
the
19.
first movie, which one did you audition for? The first
The
one?
first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
was
mean,
like
in the
19.
beginning,
I wasn't ready for it at the time.
Yeah.
Ready now, but then I wasn't ready.
I mean, look, we got Sam Wilson now. We got John Walker. I mean, the way the MCU and all these
Jesse
universes,
Kove.
you never know. You never know. You just got to put it in the air. Well,
That's right.
thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.